to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Clerk, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Burnett,
Present.
Mr. Goldstein,
Here.
Ms. Johnson,
Here.
Ms. Najolski Eichner,
Present.
Ms. Smith,
Here.
Ms. Ayers,
Here.
Mr. Ubelman,
Present.
Ms. Revoluz,
Here.
Ms. Young, Mr. Kites, Ms. McMurr,
Present.
Ms. Alterman,
Here.
Mr. Keegan,
Here.
Mr. Livingston, Ms. Shanahan,
Here.
Ms. Young, Mr. Kites, Mr. Livingston. We have 12 present. We have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Thank you. First item on the agenda is acceptance of the minutes of the regular meeting of June 14th, 2022. Do I have a motion? Ms. Shanahan moves. Any corrections, deletions, or omissions? Hearing none, I will ask for a vote. All in favor of accepting the minutes as submitted? Okay. Unanimous or opposed? Any abstentions? Unanimous. Next item is public participation. Do we have anybody wishing to address the council?
So far, I'm not seeing any, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, if there is nobody wishing to address the council, we will close public participation. Next item on the agenda is reappointments, and it gives me extreme pleasure to put forward the name of Lisa Biagirelli. Everybody knows who she is, our esteemed tax collector, who does a remarkable job for the city of Norwalk. And we're very, very really blessed to have her on our team. She works very hard. She's put together a good team. She's very competent at what she does. She's well known throughout the state of Connecticut among other tax collectors, often being called upon to teach classes and give advice. So I am honored to put her name forward and would ask for a motion. Ms. Revoluz, any comments? Mr. Burnett.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a few comments. As you stated, we are extremely fortunate to have Lisa as our City of Norwalk tax collector. Her professional experience is unmatched, having served as the tax collector for the town of Easton, the town of Stratford, and 22 years with Norwalk. Lisa is engaged with developing her profession, serving in several impactful capacities with the Connecticut Tax Collectors Association, Inc. I have had the privilege of working directly with Lisa as the finance chairperson and appreciate each day her professionalism, clear communications, outstanding work ethic, positive attitude, and her commitment to the Norwalk residents. Lisa fully supports her team and is always looking for innovative approaches to ensure the Norwalk residents have a pleasant experience during the tax collection cycle. The outstanding leadership efforts of Lisa have resulted in continuous tax collecting rates exceeding 99% each year here in Norwalk, which allows the city to continue to provide the needed services. So I am honored to support this reappointment and bring forth the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Burnett. Further comments? Mr. Keegan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just on a personal note, Lisa, it's been a absolute honor and a privilege to work with you the last couple of years. Thank you so much. Everything that Greg said is so true. And what a jewel you are for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hooverman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to also say thank you to Lisa. I'm excited that you're being reappointed and that you're staying with us. Since coming onto the council almost 3 years ago, I've learned so much in the Finance Committee from Lisa, but also just the attention to detail and the care with which she does her job. And I'm very happy that we are reappointing her this evening.
Thank you. Further comment? Ms. Revolus?
Lisa, I got my taxes in the mail. You do an amazing job.
Don't hold that against her.
She told us to tell her, so I got it the other day. You do an amazing job. We appreciate you.
Further discussion or comment? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of the reappointment of Lisa Biaggiarelli? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passes unanimously. Congratulations, I think, and welcome aboard. Welcome back aboard.
Thank you. Thank
Would
you
like
all.
to make a comment?
I would. I greatly appreciate the support. I feel very privileged to work for all of you and for the residents of Norwalk. It's the honor of my life to work for the city. And as they say, 4 more years. I appreciate the opportunity and the very kind words. Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is mayor's comments. Just a couple. This morning, we held an event to announce that the city has submitted our South Norwalk school application to the state. We want to acknowledge the fact that this is the greatest investment in South Norwalk schools in a generation. We are moving forward quickly. A lot of people felt that this was not going to happen, but with a team effort involving our Senate Majority Leader, Senator Duff, certainly our Common Council, Alan Lowe, our Building and Facilities Manager at the City of Norwalk, Norwalk Public Schools, and Superintendent Dr. Estrella. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful building, and we're going to do it right. We're going to also invest over $1.5 million in the surrounding area to make sure that the children have a safe route to walk to school, and making sure that traffic flows smoothly and safely for parents who want to drive their children to school. We also announced a partnership with the community and the Norwalk Redevelopment Agency for the Martin Luther King Initiative. It's announced a major funding commitment in South Norwalk. Certainly, it's going to involve $3 million from the state of Connecticut, $3.5 million from the Sumno Collection, $8.2 million in citywide efforts from federal funds through the American Rescue Plan, and partnership with the Norwalk Redevelopment Agency, who is also contributing some additional funds. The priority efforts include safety improvements to our roadways for pedestrians and cyclists, environmental efforts such as tree plantings, investments in playgrounds for children, funding in support of women and minority-owned businesses, investments in public art like the 2 murals that have been installed, and major investments in our residential housing. At the event, we announced that, one second, please. We also, at the event, announced that we're going to be doing these grants to the businesses and so forth. We'd like to take a moment to also honor the International Domestic Workers Day, which was June 16th. We officially proclaimed June 16th as International Domestic Workers Day here in Norwalk. They do the work that makes all other work possible, caring for children so that parents can go to work, keeping our elderly and loved ones comfortable and safe in their homes, and much, much more. And certainly during the pandemic, the international, or I'm sorry, the domestic workers were essential workers, people who were the unsung heroes that went to work and did the job that needed to be done. So we want to recognize International Domestic Workers Day on June 16th. Finally, on Thursday, we close out the month of June, which means the end of celebrating Pride Month. We celebrated and kicked off Pride Month in Norwalk by raising the LGBTQ plus flag in front of the City Hall. Many of us, including myself, attended Norwalk's annual Pride in the Park. This all-day event was organized by the Triangle Community Center at Matthews Park. It was actually an incredible event. I believe one of the things about Norwalk is that our community knows that each of our differences make us stronger, adding to the exceptional fabric of what makes Norwalk so special. And certainly as we end the month, I want to wish everybody a happy Pride Month. Moving into July, we're going to be presenting again coming up on July 3rd. I think a lot of people are going to be thrilled about bringing the fireworks back to the city of Norwalk. We'll have a DJ at Calf Pasture Beach and a live band on the main stage. We also ask for everyone's patience when exiting the event. We know how difficult that can be. If you're going to be going to the event, bringing your car, you can expect quite a delay in getting out, but it's an event that's well worth coming. And finally, in addition to the fireworks this weekend, our Recreation and Parks Department has also organized our annual summer concert series at Calf Pasture Beach. Concerts on Wednesday evenings beginning July 20th through August 24th. I've looked at the schedule. You're going to see some incredible events there. And I know everybody's going to come out and enjoy it. It's just a wonderful time. And we're going to get back to hopefully being able to get out and enjoy the fresh air and listen to some great music. Last but not least, I want to offer my thanks to our departing council member, Tom Keegan, who came on board the council in his second term, had to be a member of every committee, put his heart and soul into his position, a real team player who disagreed when he felt he needed to, but he did it with class. He said what he had to say and voted the way he had to vote, but he was always a class act, and a real honor to have you on the council, Tom. We enjoyed your time with us, your insight, your wisdom, and the comments that you made, and you are going to truly be missed. Now what I will do, I will yield the floor to any council member who wants to add comments about Tom, and I will take you in order as you appear on the screen by raising your hand. Lisa Shanahan.
Well, Tom and I started our city career together at the Conservation Commission together, and we ran for common council at the same time. So we've been kind of brethren to some degree on all of this. He sat on my ordinance committee. He's done a fantastic job. As I said to him the other night, I'm really going to miss your council, especially when it comes to enforcement issues and just keeping us on the straight and narrow when we're thinking through really important and difficult issues. So I am going to miss you greatly, my friend. And
Thank you.
I hope to see you like some St. Patrick's Day back up here. We can celebrate our Irish heritage together.
Mr. Goldstein.
So I am obviously newer to the council, and I, even in the limited time I've had, got to work with you, Tom. I mean, you are a pro's pro, and you are someone who I think has, even though you run as a different party, I think it really it shows how important it is to be able to work together as partners in the shared goal of improving this city, and there is no better example of that than you. You are a true a citizen in the best part of that definition. But the good thing is, even though you're in Florida, we still have your phone number and might call you with questions and advice. So you've been a great partner and a great friend. And I hope to seek your counsel, even though you'll be wearing shorts more often than we will.
Mr. McMurray.
I, like Josh, am newer to the council, and so I only got to spend a limited amount of time with Mr. Keegan, but that was some of the most important time I've spent on the council so far. You've taught me so much, and I am going to miss you so much on the council, but I'm going to miss you more as a friend, and I am looking forward to keeping in touch with you. You bring such a positivity and light to this job when can sometimes be dark, and I just appreciate everything you've taught me and the professionalism and respect you bring to this job, and you will dearly be missed.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mr. Keegan, what a pleasure these last several years have been. I'm trying to, there you are. All these squares here. I'm trying to, you keep moving. Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Okay, because I'm gonna talk to you directly. I have so admired your integrity, your honesty, and your curiosity. Anytime there was an issue that you wanted to know more about, you would just show up at the fire department, or show up here, or show up at a public works site, and you always did that with respect for the workers, and so I always admired that about you. You've been a model of collaboration and cooperation. You've been a friend. We've talked so much throughout these last couple of years, and I really, I'm just so appreciative of the respect that you have brought to this job, your ability to work with us, to be, as the mayor said, that lone voice, and an important voice for the Republican Party in Norwalk. And you have served your constituents very well, and you have been a model of, how to make this work. When we disagree, you do it respectfully, and I really appreciate that about you. One more thing that I have to add is I'll never forget the time. This is something that will just stay dear in my heart. The time during a snowstorm, you came and picked me up in your Jeep and drove me down to the operations center, and we hung out with the guys and saw how hard they worked, and that was the day that I went out on the snowplow. But that was a lot of fun, and I thank you for going out of your way to pick me up. I want to wish you all the best. And since I'm speaking, I'm just going to go ahead and show you that we have this plaque for you, which I'll give to you later. Sorry, it's a little hard to see, but it says, presented to Tom Keegan in recognition of service on the Common Council 2019 to 2022 by the City of Norwalk Common Council. So
Thank you.
I'll give this over to you later. And I wish you all the best.
Mr. Hoovelman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Keegan, we started together and we got placed sitting next to each other in the council chambers, and then we went virtual. So we've been doing Hollywood Squares for a while now since then. But the one thing that I have felt every time we've been together is that when you and I talked, there was no sense of party or partisanship. It was a conversation about the city that we love and the things that were going on and what we might be able to do to improve those things. And I've always appreciated that, because it was always a conversation. It was never a debate in that sense. And I'm appreciative of that. And Tom, I will definitely miss those conversations and miss seeing you and sitting with you in the council chambers. But I wish you the best of luck, learning that for the first few months down there, you may feel the need to wear socks with sandals, but us Northerners have to learn quickly that you take the socks off, just wear the sandals or go barefoot. Enjoy yourself, and we're going to miss you, Tom.
Mr. Burnett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tom, Sir Tom Keegan, as I refer to him as. I'm going to miss the phone call before the Finance Committee meeting where the very basic question is, Greg, does this make any sense whatsoever? And your common sense approach to everything means so much. And as Councilmember Hooverman indicated, we put aside our party affiliation, and we talk real. How will this affect the citizens of Norwalk? And so I really, really appreciated your down-to-earth, common sense discussions. Debates sometimes, we didn't always agree, but we agreed to do it with class, and we agreed to go forward in the best interests of the residents of Norwalk. So I will always appreciate that approach and your effort. And I hope that you go down to Florida and turn it upside down. Stay active, stay involved. And I'm sure I'll be watching CNN and they're going to say, this guy from Norwalk, who's now in Florida, he's got things in line now. And I'm going to give you a big thumbs up for that. So best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. Tom, I think you were the first council member outside of the meeting where I was appointed back in early 2020 to welcome me. I really think you were. And I can't tell you how much that meant to me, because luckily my family isn't watching this. You're my favorite Republican. I have Republicans in my family. So some, and you're my favorite. And I tell you why, because not only you, as everyone's saying, you think about the community, that's why you do this, but you also do it with a sense of hope for what we can build together, right? And you gave me hope that we can do this, even in these times where everything gets so partisan. And so I'm so grateful for that. And I got to tell you, it's your ideas, your insight, and your advice. I always valued our calls. And you gave me one of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten. And I'm going to mess it up right now, but I'll say this. It's, I'll always defend what I've done and who I am. I will never defend who I'm not and what I've never done. I did mess that up a little, right? But I'm just going to say I'm so lucky to have been working with you, the person you are, and so grateful to have seen and been a part of some of the things you have done here in the city. And so I'm honored for that. Go wear Tommy Bahama as much as you want. All right. I'll talk to you later. This isn't goodbye.
Ms. Ayers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To the person who the freshman class of the council lovingly calls Candyman, it was about 8 months ago, we had our board retreat, and me passed out candy to everybody. And I have to say, I have never seen a person enjoy peppermint and butterscotch and hard candy more than Tom Keegan. And he instantaneously became our candy man, and he is my table mate. And so I wish you all the well wishes. I wish you health, happiness, and as much joy as you can hold in both of your hands and all of your pants. I come from a culture that when you have done a job well done, you deserve to go and have some fun. So I just don't want to read about you in any of the Floridian newspapers having a little too much fun. But I think that this relocation is what you need, because you have put in the work as a stellar family man, as an ideal model officer of the law, and as the best Republican this council has ever had the opportunity to sit in with. You have a way about you that there will never, ever be another Tom Keegan, and there will never, ever be a Republican that a whole bunch of Democrats loves more than Tom Keegan. Now, we love Rick McQuay, but we don't love him more than we love you, Candyman. So well wishes, safety and happiness to you and your family as you start this new journey in life.
Thank you.
Ms. Revolus.
So Tom, I love you. I do. But where I want to put it, because, even with my colleagues, I may have a more conservative viewpoint, but you have, one of the things that I loved about you is I don't even have to, I know you were one of the first people I talked to when I got on the council. And you've always talked about the districts that need something, the people that truly need something, the fact that you understand the the district you were in, but you saw the need for others. In my district and just in Norwalk. Secondly, your humanity. As a cop and being someone of, representing Black people, we usually have maybe a little bit of a scare when it comes to the cops and how that works. You have always had stories of just sure delight in helping people and making people smile. That's not just a political thing. That is a spirit thing. Your spirit is whole. Your spirit is loving. You are pure. And I can only even get chills with the fact that we were able to be graced with you in Norwalk. I hope when you go to Florida, you do nothing political. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. You did so much for so many, not only here, but in Greenwich, not only on this table, not only in this political world, but as a protector. And I think by your true nature, you just want to see people happy and whole, just like you are. Your spirit is just beaming, and I appreciate everything about you. Don't eat too much candy because we need you. That being said, I could only thank you for giving us space and place to be courageous and to be honest, to be loyal and to be loving. And I hope we get to talk to you and see you on a normal basis. I will not change my number just so you could call. and again, if I could just jump through and there's so many times you're so funny with me. I can't even stop. I can't even deal. Like, you're so cute. But anyway, with that being said, just the greatest of enjoy, delight, and just fulfill your dreams. Just be you and just enjoy you when you get out there. Be warm, be happy, be full, be successful. Just don't care about us in that way, even going there. You've done so much for the world in your own way. And I just appreciate the fact that we were able to have you and carry you and let you say goodbye with us so you can just go enjoy your life, drink, anything, your mojitos, whatever, and just have fun. We thank you. I thank you. And just big hugs.
Mr. Jilski Eichner.
I will only be able to echo what everyone else has said, but I want to talk particularly about two words that you and I were talking about the other night, which is public service. And for me, you are a model of the genuine public servant, the person who understands that it is about more than yourself, that it is about more than the name recognition and the news cameras, but it is about doing something for your community. It is about doing something for the individuals in your community. It is about thinking at every moment about what you can do to make things better for now and for the future. It is about thinking about people in their moments of fear and need, and the ability of our local government and of yourself as an individual to step up and help. And that to me is something that we should all strive for every day, and certainly in our roles on the council here. And I feel incredibly grateful to have gotten to have you as a model for that kind of incredibly dedicated public service, the kind of public service that shows up for every committee meeting, so that your voice and your perspectives as the sole Republican representative is truly there for the city, for the need that we have to fully represent our voices. And that had to have been an incredible effort and time-consuming commitment. But you did it because you deeply believe in public service. And I just can't thank you enough for that role model. I, like everyone else, join you in wishing you some relaxation and rest. And I think that Florida is incredibly lucky to have you, because I know that service ethos is going to come out again. And I look forward to seeing what you do to help people down there. So thank you so much, Tom, and really best of luck and best wishes.
Thank you.
Mr. Keegan, do you have any rebuttal?
Mayor, I'm overwhelmed, and I want to thank everyone for just letting me be part of the team. And I would be remiss if I didn't tell each of you how important you've been to me these last few years in our serving this, the people of our city, and also the staff of the city. Mayor, you've got a great team
You
here
betcha.
in Norwalk, and working with the staff on almost a daily basis. They've been so accommodating, answering questions. If we needed to reach out and get some help from them, they were just so accommodating. And I'm humbled that I was able to play a part in all of this. And I thank you for everything everyone has said. And I promise when I'm in Florida, there will not be a day that doesn't go by that I won't think of all the great things that we were able to do here in the city of Norwalk. So thank you again, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we all have a place to go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Be interesting to see who goes there first.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, thank you all for your kind comments, and certainly well-deserved. And now I'll turn it over to the council president for the evening, Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. If I could just ask IT to please move Stephen Ivan over as a panelist in case he's needed later in the meeting. So we've already said all of our goodbyes and best wishes to Mr. Keegan. He has a final gift for us tonight, and that is he has volunteered to read the consent calendar. So I will turn it over to you for your last reading of that, Mr. Keegan.
Well, thank you very much. And I'd like to thank Councilwoman Revolou for giving me this opportunity. I am stealing her thunder tonight. And the under reports 6A, Corporation Counsel 1, settlement Christopher Palladino versus Anthony Del Pino et al. 7, Common Council Committees, Recreation, Parks, and Cultural Affairs Committee. A1, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter into an agreement with the Norwalk Conservatory of the Arts for their Broadway in the Park event to be held on Saturday, August 13th, 20th, 27th, 2022, from 3:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., set up to begin 9:00 a.m. with teardown at 9:00 p.m. Rain date Sunday, August 14, 21, and 28, 2022, approximately 500 people. 2, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter into a 3-year contract with Geese Relief LLC for geese management services at Calf Pasture Beach and Veterans Memorial Park for an amount not to exceed $33,900. 3, authorize the Recreation and Parks Director or his designee to issue the 2 one-year contract extensions on the Geese Relief LLC contract. 4, approval of the mooring permit fees as discussed and approved by the Recreation and Parks Council Committee. 5, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to approve the allocation of $2 million of the American Rescue Plan Act ARPA funds to the City of Norwalk Recreation and Parks Department to be expended as follows. And that is consent.
Just 1 minute. I believe that's the consent to refer back to committee.
That is consent to refer back to committee.
Right.
And ordinance C2, request for proposed new subsection to City Code Chapter 72, subsection 5, 72, 5D. And that's the consent calendar. Short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
Like the guy that
Well
read it.
done. Well done, Mr. Keegan. Boy, we're going to miss you. Thank you for that wonderful reading, and I will call for a vote on the consent calendar as read. All in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed? Abstentions? And that carries unanimously, and it is back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. So the first item would be 7B1, Ms. Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll enter this 7B1 Community Services Committee in for to make this motion, and then we can speak to it with some of our guests tonight. Authorize the Mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all agreements, documents, instruments, or amendments as may be necessary with Mid-Fairfield Child Guidance Center Incorporated for continued in-home mental health and family support services for public school children under the Community Services Department for the period July 1, 2022 to June 30, 2023, in the amount of $399,996, account number noted. If I might, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to speak to this briefly, and then we have Dr. Gail Millinson, the Executive Director of Mid-Fairfield Community Care Center, which is the new name for Mid-Fairfield Child Guidance Center, here with us this evening. And before I pass it off to Dr. Millinson, just want to say, as chair of this committee, how important this work is that we continue for some of our most vulnerable residents, but also in the commitments we've made as a council over the past few years with this program. We've seen how the program has become invaluable to our families, how it's become a crucial service that is something that is connecting with our other services and Community Services Department and Norwalk Public Schools, and how we know coming out of the pandemic, this is even more important that we serve our families and students and young people with these services. Lastly, we are with this program a leader in the state of Connecticut. So it's a real point of pride for our city that we support this program and put the support of the city behind it. And importantly, most importantly, we are here tonight so that the good people of Norwalk see their investment in each other and how important that is, and what a wonderful use of our taxpayer funds this is. So with that, I believe I can introduce Dr. Millinson if my colleagues have questions about this.
Dr.
Thank you.
Millinson, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone for having me here and for the opportunity to talk about the great support that the city has provided, this council has approved for our past work with our most vulnerable residents, the young children and their families who are in need of mental health support. And the funding from this program has allowed us to touch many lives. It not only provides the crucial mental health services that these families need, but it also allows us to provide care coordination so the families can learn to navigate the many resources in the Norwalk community and be able to access the resources that will help their children and their family. And as Chair Johnson talked about, this model is up and coming, hopefully, in the state. We are real leaders in this in terms of Norwalk and what we're providing. And what it really shows is how all of the resources can come together to support the same population, and the city dollars, as well as the funding from Norwalk Public Schools. We've also been able to leverage private philanthropy who are very impressed with this model and are willing to support it because they're seeing that everyone is invested. The city's invested and Norwalk Public Schools is invested. And our partnership with Norwalk Public Schools has really grown. So we're providing support across all grades to all residents and really expanding mental health services like they've never been expanded before. In the past, it was heartbreaking to see families not be able to get the services they need. And I think, the city and Norwalk Public Schools is really stepping up to make sure that the citizens are getting what they need and the students are getting the support they need.
Thank you. Do we have any comments or questions for Dr. Millinson? Ms. Nijelski-Eichner?
Thank you so much, Dr. Millinson. I really appreciate the work that you're doing, and I appreciate you being here today. For the benefit of the community, could you walk us through how people access your services and what a typical program of services might be for a family that needed support for their child?
Absolutely. So the referrals can come from anywhere, but the most common referrals come from the schools. So the social workers or the guidance counselors or the staff in the school will identify a child or a student that is in need of the services. They will then facilitate the referral to our director, who talks with the family, lets them know more about our services, describing that a family has the opportunity to access mental health services and care coordination services, or both of them. And then the family makes a decision about which services they would like. And then the team begins working with the family, and we offer flexibility to families, so we can provide services in the school, we can provide services in the home, and we can provide services in the community or in our offices, wherever the family is in need of the services. And as I mentioned earlier, those services can be anything from just some assistance accessing some services, helping to pull together all the resources so everyone is working together to support a family. And then the clinical services, including psychiatric services if they're needed, group therapy if it's needed, family therapy, individual therapy, and parent guidance.
Thank you. Further comment or questions? Ms. Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. I saw my colleague, Mr. Huberman, but I'll say that I want to thank you for your leadership in this program, as well as our Chief of Community Services, Lamont Daniels. I would be remiss to not give those particular shout outs, given the leadership that this shows for us to do this type of work in our cities. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I guess the one thing I did not highlight with this program is that it is all of our staff in this program are bilingual Spanish and English and bicultural. So they really try to look at the needs of both the communities. Yes.
Mr.
Sorry.
Hooverman, I believe you had your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say 3 years ago, I remember when, or a little less than 3 years ago, when this first came in front of the council, and we voted for this appropriation at that time. It was exciting to know that we were embarking on this journey, but what it has become under Mid-Fairfield's guidance is amazing. And I think that we should really look at that and look at what these types of partnerships can do for our community, should do for our community, and that we keep funding things like this, because it's so important. And I give great credit to the city staff, to Lamont, to the council for us taking the chance and making this vote at that time and doing that appropriation, but also to you guys at Mid-Fairfield for really implementing this. And I'm very excited that we are continuing this. So thank you.
Thank you. And we absolutely could not do it without the support of everyone here, and the schools and everyone.
Ms. Revolus.
Hi, something you just said concerned me. You said your staff is dual Spanish and English, so both communities, but our communities is a lot bigger than that. And particularly the third largest community here is Haitian Creole. Like I'm not going to continue saying that. We also have other communities here. We have over 64 languages in Norwalk. How are we addressing that? Are you using the language line? Again, the minority community is not the majority of people here. You have to look at the minority, and then overlooking the Black community as well is actually quite frustrating. So how are we recognizing that?
Thank you. That's an excellent question. This program in particular is one that is Spanish and English, but within the agency as a whole, we have several clinicians and care coordinators that speak Haitian Creole. And if there are languages that we do not have internally, we do use the language line, and we accept all families regardless of the language, their primary language.
So how is this program then going to be initiated to other languages than Spanish?
So other programs are servicing that. This particular funding was to address a need in the community specifically, but anyone that is in need that is Haitian Creole or the Black community, they are referred, and they get the same services that these families are receiving.
So you have funding, and you are going after same programs like this for other communities currently.
yes, we have funding that we are receiving to serve other communities as well. Yes.
Okay, we have a large, again, it's just quite frustrating to be part of that community that continues to get overlooked. So that's where I'll leave it.
Ms. Smith.
Yes, there have been a lot of positive things said that I can just, I can echo what has been said, but I'd just like to take this moment to thank you for your very fine work. As a former teacher in our schools, I was at Norwalk High School when we did initiate that special appropriation to address the students who had come to us so traumatized from the border. It was initially for the influx of students who had come from the border, and that work has continued. I saw I saw very professional work that addressed what those kids were going through. And I'm just so proud and pleased that we are able to continue this funding as part of our budget annually, and that this service will continue. And I thank you again for your very fine work.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Any further comment or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is under Ordinance Committee. Ms. Shanahan, I believe it's item 7C1.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. And I'd like to move that we approve the proposed new ordinance to the city code that's known as the Healthy Outdoor Public Spaces. And with everyone's indulgence, I'd like to read the preamble of the ordinance because I think it gives everybody a good sense of what the inspiration for the promulgation of this ordinance was. The city of Norwalk recognizes that the health and safety of its residents is of paramount concern, and that high standards for the promotion and protection of the health and safety of the people must underlie municipal action. It's also in the best interest of the city and its residents to protect the ecological integrity of Long Island Sound, Norwalk's rivers and streams, and to improve and protect water quality throughout our region. Pesticides necessarily contaminate soil microbiology, plant life, wildlife, marine species, groundwater, rivers, and water wells. These lethal chemicals blindly kill and make no distinction between the unwanted pests and beneficial insects and healthy organisms. Many of these beneficial insects can help limit unwanted pests on properties where organic land management practices are used. Pregnant women, children, pets are particularly vulnerable to the adverse effects of pesticides, including cancer, respiratory, endocrinological, neurodevelopmental disorders. Existing federal and state regulation of pesticides does not and cannot guarantee their safety. Fortunately, there are numerous effective and safe alternatives, as well as best property practices that can be employed for sustainable lawn, soil, land, garden, and tree care. Therefore, the city of Norwalk hereby creates this chapter to promote a healthy environment that protects its residents, waterways, and wildlife from the risks inherent in pesticides by prohibiting or restricting their use on all city-owned public grounds, including but not limited to parks, beaches, trails, recreational centers, and playgrounds. So that is what we're striving to do with this ordinance. And I want to say, just as a preamble before we get to it, this ordinance is a result of the collaboration of work among the mayor's office, the Department of Public Works under the leadership of Anthony Carr, the Recreation and Park Department under the leadership of Mr. Sowers, who I see today on the call, our Senior Conservation Officer, Alexis Cherichetti, our Director of Health, Deanna Demore, as well as the commissioners of Oak Hills Park Authority and its directors of grounds. We are lucky here in Norwalk to have a city government that's dedicated to maintaining our city properties in a manner that promotes both the health of our residents, but also of our wildlife. I encourage people to watch the regular ordinance committee meeting that we held in March, where Dr. Sarah Evans testified to the effects that pesticides have on human health, but especially on the health of children. Mr. Drew Tower also provided testimony as to the damage the pesticides do to our environment and the limited benefit that's gained by using these chemicals. And finally, Richard Harris, who is the founder of Harbor Watch and currently the marine science of Kopp's Oysters, which we all know is a very important Norwalk business, he also provided local color at that meeting to the damage that the use of pesticides in Norwalk have already done to our marine life here in the Sound. A recording of that hearing can be found on our city website. We hope that the practices adopted by the city and memorialized in this ordinance will inspire our residents to stop the use of pesticides on their own private properties and to maintain their lawns and gardens in more sustainable ways that minimize the harm to creatures that live in our yards and our beloved Sound. So I want to thank the ordinance committee for the work done in this ordinance, in particular, Mr. Livingston, who's not here tonight, who was my drafting partner, along with Brian Candela of our Corporation Counsel office who helped. I also want to give a special shout out to Mr. Keegan for his support in this ordinance, and especially for his help in crafting the language for the municipal golf course. But mostly, and most importantly, I want to thank our city staff who've enthusiastically endorsed these better practices in the maintenance of our city properties for the health of our community. And there may be other statements that some of our ordinance committee members might have or questions they might have. And I'll yield the floor before we take the vote.
Thank you, Ms. Shanahan. Any other comments or questions? Mr. Goldstein.
I just want to say, as someone who got to sort of watch this process begin this, this session, Lisa and Tom have really shepherded this down the line. This is a comprehensive ordinance that really is going to show and be an example throughout the city of both an example of how we are going to, engage and make sure that we're not using these harmful chemicals, but also provide a public education and public benefit to the community at large to make sure that, we're having a more environmentally friendly city. So to Lisa and the Toms and the city staff and everyone between, I can't wait to wholeheartedly support this ordinance tonight.
Thank you. Any further comments? Mr. Hooverman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just real quick, a thank you to Lisa, Tom, and everyone who worked on this. I personally think this is one of the most important things that we as a community can do, especially a community geographically located where we are. The water is important. We need to preserve it. We need to make sure that we are shepherding our water supplies. And this is a first big step for the city. I agree wholeheartedly that I hope that this leadership shows into perhaps how private citizens utilize those same chemicals as well. But I applaud the city for taking this step and all of the staff who worked on this to find ways to make this happen. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hooverman. Ms. Nadjelski-Eichner.
Just to very briefly add, I really second Lisa's recommendation to watch the March Ordinance Committee meeting. The information there was quite comprehensive. I really appreciated that it was provided by people who have a deep connection to Norwalk, at least for 2 out of the 3 folks. And so there is a real sense of local expertise there. And it had changed my views about how our family does pest control. So I really hope that for everyone in the city, this provides a model for a chance to see how the city, is managing it on its own property, the ways it can be done, and the real risks that a lot of these chemicals pose, to your children and to our water. So I thank you all. And again, I really want to echo a deep, deep thanks to the staff who have pioneered this in our community, have really worked hard over the last few years to figure out how to do this and make it work. And I look forward to a safer system of parks and schools and public lands in the city, thanks to their work. And thank you to Ms. Shanahan for spearheading this.
Thank you. Further questions or comments? Just like to echo those comments, Ms. Shanahan and the Ordinance Committee and everybody. Thank you. This is quite a really important issue, and you're a champion for the environment. We truly appreciate it. And your leadership on the Ordinance Committee, especially in areas like this, is much appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if there's no further questions, comments, I'll call a vote. All in
I see
favor?
Mr.
Wait.
Yeah,
I'm sorry?
Mr. Stowers has his hand up.
Oh, Mr. Stowers, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to, can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Yeah, I just wanted to just briefly say, I'm looking forward to assembling the integrated pest management team and operationalizing this ordinance. I think it's real important. And I just wanted to let you know how dedicated I am to it and the rest of our team. So just wanted to, comment on that as well, the importance of this. So thank you. Thank Lisa and Tom for their leadership, but not only their leadership, but their ability, willingness to listen to the staff and take our input and really come up with a really quality ordinance. So
It was a collaboration. We worked hard together, so appreciate your help and comments.
Thanks.
Okay, seeing no more comments or questions, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. I have to go back to one issue. Ms. Revolus, I'm getting questions as to what your vote was for item 7B1. I don't know if I recorded it properly. Was it in favor, opposed, or abstaining?
But I was in favor.
I'm sorry?
It could be in favor.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is 7D1. Who's going to stand in for Mr. Kites?
I'll take care of that, Mayor.
Okay, Ms. Smith?
And if I may, I'll move both together.
Okay,
Item 1, authorize the mayor to execute any and all documents associated with submission of the PY48 AAP to HUD. And 2, authorize the mayor to execute any and all documents consistent with the approved PY48 annual action plan. And if I can just say a few words, we have Stephen Ivan here from the Redevelopment Agency in case anyone has any questions. But this is our annual community development block grant funding. And tonight's approval will allow the Redevelopment Agency to submit the annual action plan to HUD so that it becomes a binding document. And over $1 million worth of funding will go to several organizations here in Norwalk that address concerns of public service, public facilities, and housing.
any questions or comments from the council or questions for Mr. Ivan? Okay, seeing none, I'll take a vote. All in favor? Opposed? Ms. Revolus, we can't see you, we see your image.
Hey, sorry to interject. Just as a reminder that if there were any conflicts of interest, please abstain from the vote for CDBG policy.
Okay.
Yeah, if I can just add, the one person who we thought was going to have a conflict was not able to attend tonight. So the rest of us are good.
All right. So we'll take the vote again. All in favor of these two items? Okay, I still can't see Ms. Revolus. If you could raise your hand electronically or all opposed? Abstentions? Ms. Revolus?
Oh, I think I have a text from her. Ms. Revolus is saying that she thinks she should abstain.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, she had, on her conflict of interest form, there was a conflict that was identified.
Very good, thank you. Okay, so it's 11, I believe 11 in favor and one not opposed and one abstention, Ms. Dixon. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
No further business to come before the council. Do I have a motion? Ms. Ayers.
Oh, give it to Keegan.
Oh, Mr. Keegan.
Yes, let's let Mr. Keegan do it.
Mr. Keegan, go right ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? It is 8:35 and this council is adjourned. And thank you, Mr. Keegan, and good luck and best wishes.
You know, I love you for letting you do that.
We'll miss you, Tom. We'll miss you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye, Tom. We'll miss you.
Bye, Tom.
Bye, Tom.
Best to everybody.